So great-grandfather immigrated from England to Geraldton in 1911, yeah?
He was apprenticed in 1886 when he was a boy in England.
So Dad, I guess because I grew up in the industry from young, we had 4 stores at one stage, so I used to sort of manage those stores, buy all the stock, train the staff. So I think just being in the industry as a designer and a salesperson probably wasn't satisfying enough. I always wanted to actually learn the trade, and that's when I remember giving you a call saying, Dad, I want to do an apprenticeship.
I remember it well.
But I think once I actually got my hands on the tools and started learning how metal works and how, actually creating jewellery, hammering and melting and forging and soldering and...
Getting bruised fingers.
Yeah, all of that sort of metal work, I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm designed to do.
Good, keep it up.
Hi, I'm Gemma, a jeweller from Geraldton. I'm a 4th generation jeweller and owner of GEMARA, fine jewellery inspired by life. I think subconsciously your surroundings influence, what you make, whether you actually consciously decide that or not. And because I'm constantly in the water, it's the waves, the flow of the wave, it's the way the water moves, the way the sun glistens on the ocean, all those things I think influence what you make. Quite bluntly, I don't like straight lines and corners, I like things that flow and that move, and I think in nature everything's kind of like that. I spent some time living in Chapman Valley. That's where I got my inspiration for the wildflower collection. Flowers are just beautiful. Wheat, inspired me as well, so it was my time out there that created some of these collections that are now part of my core product.
Well, I've been selling Gemma my pearls that we grow at the Abrolhos at Post Office Island, and Gemma's basically been using those exclusively. Jane's
an inspiration in her own self. She's an incredible woman. She spends time at the islands. She's a fisherwoman, obviously, before a pearl farmer, and I've been buying pearls off them for the last 10 years or so.
Gemma has a level of enthusiasm that I like and understand.
It's hard to stop us talking, when we get together, and she comes in with the latest harvest, pulls it out onto the desk, and it's like, oh my gosh,
I really appreciate Gemma's jewellery because it requires a high degree of craftsmanship and understanding of the metals, and I think that's really special in the world now because a lot of jewellery is mass-produced, so it's hard to find really beautiful handmade jewellery anymore.
I refer to this book all the time by Arlene M. Fish, who's an American artist. Through being inspired by this book, I went about teaching myself how to knit with silver initially. Now, as you know, I knit with gold and white gold and yellow gold and the like. So that's really my signature technique now.
We've been working with Gemma Baker for a few months now. Our first step in this brand development project was to undertake a brand development workshop.
Through that process, we decided that we would prefer to relaunch Gemma Baker Jewellers into something a little bit more creative, a beautiful creative name that rolls off the tongue, that better reflects, I guess, what we do.
We began working with Gemma to help her establish some clarity around her brand and her visual identity to create a more powerful and strategic and intentional brand moving forward that really personifies her values and her mission.
There was just no doubt to choose GEMARA as soon as I saw it. I loved the way it looked, I loved the way it sounded, and then the meaning, I just couldn't believe when I read it. The meaning of GEMARA is the mastery and transmission of an existing tradition. I was just like, I had goose flesh all over. It was like, that's just GEMARA down to a T. We're masters of our trade. It's not just me, it's my jewellers as well. And my staff in the front, the design girls, it's like a team effort. Transmission to me is like moving forward. An existing tradition is my 4th generational tradition of being in the jewellery industry.